Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your January soul session for the 1st to the 15th. I am Marlo if you're new, okay? And if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. Welcome to 2023, Gemini. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, or whatever. I hope this energy has been treating you nice because it hasn't been treating me nice. And that's the reason why your soul session is late. But anywho, let's go ahead and jump into your cards and see what's going on with you guys. Okay. We're out here from the 1st through the 15th of the month. All right. So first card out, we have the Five of Wands. So coming into the month of January 2023 from 2022 and from December, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot, whatever. You guys are coming in with a bit of conflict, and it feels like petty conflict. But I'm feeling petty conflict in the sense where some of you guys, it could literally be manifesting as, arguments and disagreements and stuff with friends, family, co-workers, and things of the sort. Or it could literally just be you guys feeling that, like it could be like a perception wise of feeling that people, situations, circumstances, what have you, are just in opposition to you. But the key is going to be, Gemini, in this first week. Oh, child, look, okay. There's the whole thing. The key is going to be this week that's going to behoove you, my Gemini friend, is you guys more or less standing in your power above the fray and not getting sucked into the madness. So this kind of says to me that you guys are fixated a lot on 3D and what's happening in 3D and what's going on with other people, what other people are doing, what other people are saying, and things of the sort. But with this Queen of Swords in the reverse, which is coming out next, you know what I'm saying? That's saying to me that there's like an embitteredness a tad bit. Like it's a little bit of embitteredness, and I'm gonna say something else here too. After that, we have the Emperor and the reverse, and of course that's Aries energy. And I have to say with this too, I probably should have said it with Virgo, but I mean with them it was definitely a person. But with this Aries energy, I have to take into account Mars going direct on the 12th of this month, which would be in the second week that we're going to get into in a moment, as well as the North Node switching from Taurus. Oh God, yeah, that's a whole thing. Oh God, that's a whole ordeal. I'm like rethinking Virgo's reading. It's like we have the Taurus energy with the Hierophant, and then underneath that we had the Magician in the reverse, which is Aries energy. So that's also speaking to that nodal switch that's going to happen in July. That's fascinating. But that's just on the esoteric side. You know what I'm saying? If you're about that life, then come join one of my member platforms, specifically the network, so you can learn more about those things. But anywho, back to just regular old tarot. But it's fascinating with this Queen of Swords in the reverse and this Emperor in the reverse. I'm seeing this two different ways. There's a part of this where with my Geminis, I feel some of you guys, because I'm feeling as a person, I'm feeling it as you guys. So first, starting with it being Gemini, it's like the little petty squabble thing, or feeling people are in opposition to you, whether perceptively or literally. A lot of that is coming from this place of the Queen of Swords and the Emperor in the reverse, which is like a toughness or a hardness that one has. And that would make sense of why it is you guys are like in the thrall of the fray here that I'm seeing with this Five of Wands, because the whole premise of what I'm saying is that you guys are acting out of accordance with your true nature, right? And what I mean by that is the solution, of course, to the Five of Swords is the Five of Wands is to stand in your power, because it's more or less like, if we literally think of the Seven of Wands, you think about the Seven of Wands and how the dude is like up on the hill and it's like all the people and they got their little things and he's like back, right? It's like the Five of Wands is the equivalent of like you jumping down to that level. So it's like you're operating at a level that you're not intended to operate at. If we get really deep with this, it's like, what level are you operating at? It's exactly what I was saying. It's like you're operating on 3D. So it's like it's not seeing the spiritual elements that are at play with what it is that you're dealing with. And the reason for that, why one would vacate the higher consciousness to go back to sensory consciousness, would be because of this Queen of Swords in the reverse and the Emperor in the reverse. Now, keep that in mind that I just said that. So sorry to interrupt you guys while you're listening to the show, but I wanted to tell you guys about our new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of them, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat. You can also text them between sessions. If you or someone you know has been considering therapy, get started today with BetterHelp. Now let's get back to the show. Before I get into the actual person that I would be seeing if this is not you, Gemini, but keep that in mind of what I was saying. So the thing that would be motivating this behavior is disappointments, past tense, not letting go of things that one went through in the past and that embittering a person. So when you're looking at present situations, the only thing that you're seeing is your past. You feel what I'm saying? So it ends up becoming this very tough, hardened, and a word I just used a few minutes ago in a conversation is like a megalomaniac kind of behavior, to where it's like very egoic. I wouldn't go as far as saying like narcissistic, speaking about like my Gemini people who are watching, but it's just more or less like your defense mechanisms devoid of, spiritual revelation cause you to be on the defense and like zero tolerance and like, about stuff or whatever. And that's what the source of the conflict is. So what would be imperative is for you to realize that you've fallen into this energy that's completely out of alignment with how it is that you're intended to operate, right? Now, moving on to if this is a person. Now, if this was a particular person, this, of course, could be an Aries person that has, air in their chart, which would be, Gemini like you, or a Libra, or Aquarius. But I'm less fixated on the sign with this. And I feel it more in the context of, and this feels more feminine to me, because I know like with Virgo, I was like, it definitely felt masculine. This feels more feminine to me. It's general. So, I mean, it could be masculine, but this more or less feels to me kind of like a boss. You know what I'm saying? And everything, like what I was saying, to keep in mind what I was saying before, everything of how I described how my Geminis would feel if this is referring to you. This is how this person is in. Like, you would be dealing with a person who is an embittered bitch that has been through a whole bunch of stuff in their past. And they're kind of operating in transference with you, where they're seeing you as someone from their past, and they're being like, evil, maniacal, megalomaniac, narcissist towards you or whatever, and creating a lot of chaos and conflict in your life. But, here at Tarot Therapy, we're always about personal accountability. So even though there are people in the world that are like that, it's like you have to stand in your power to make sure that you're not playing into that. So when I say stand in your power, I don't mean like, oh, let me brace up to my boss and be like, bitch, first of all, you got daddy issues, okay? Like, don't come for me, right? I'm not saying to do that. What I'm saying of standing in your power is you realizing how it is that you're playing into the narrative, because it very well could be, if you have a person like this that you're dealing with, how it is that you're disempowering yourself is in your past, you've dealt with people like this before. You feel what I'm saying? It could be a parental figure. It could be a past partner, past boss. And because subconsciously this person is showing up as this particular archetype, you're taking like the little archetype to where you're submissive under this person like you were before. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so helpless and my boss is so terrible and life is just so complicated for me. You feel what I'm saying? So you want to be conscious of that as well. Now, this is all taking place in just the goddamn first week of January. So anywho, getting to the second week, we have the 5 of Swords in the reverse. So the whole thing that that's saying is to give up the fight, surrender, walk away. Oh, wow, wonderful. Next card out we have is the 3 of Swords in the reverse. That's the thing, give up the fight, because you're fighting a losing battle in reference to this person. Yeah, and then with the Page of Pentacles in the reverse, stop seeding into it. So exactly what I was saying, Gemini, in some sense or another, because like I said, hold on. Let's do an after tarot lesson. This is why I freaking love the freaking after tarot. Literally the solution to the issue is here, is for you to stand in your power, like I was saying, because as long as you continue to play into it, which is just like, oh my gosh, my boss is just so terrible. And it's like, I don't even do anything. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's such a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like getting into all of that, or even letting it upset you to where you take work home with you and stuff like that. You have to look at the fact that people can't affect you unless you allow it. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different when you're like in a relationship with a person who's a little lot of narky. But when it comes to a job, it's like, dude, you know, you have to look at, we're not even going to go on a whole lecture about that. But anyway, this is the 5 of Wands in the After Tarot. Now, notice the difference between these two, right? You got, oh, dude, that's all up in this daddy. He's like, bam, 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 right? But then notice what he's doing here and what everyone else is doing. They're sitting the fuck down. You feel what I'm saying? Because dude stood in his power. So standing in your power, the misconception of power is thinking that power looks like this. Like that's what all of humanity thinks. Like, and this is toxic masculinity in an etheric sense, not toxic masculinity in the whole, you know, pop culture terminology of, you know, smash the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about in the sense of when you're operating too much of masculine energy, meaning in the sense that you're too action-oriented and domineering and wanting to control everything. And you can do that whether you're a male or a female. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like it's trying to control everything in 3D and completely, you know, thumbing your nose to divine law, order, and things of the sort, which are all things I talk about in my course, by the way. I hope you took it, because if you didn't, what are you doing with your life? But moving right along. But anywho, with this standing in that power, it's using wisdom instead of like, you know, strength or whatever, like, or perceived strength. So what this is saying in the second week, what you need to do is to give up the fight, but not like in a weakling sense, but like using wisdom, right? Like it's foolish to argue with fools because you will end up walking away looking like a goddamn fool. You feel what I'm saying? So to protect your heart space, and these two cards, of course, are speaking to each other. It's like if you give up on it, because if you do end up winning, it's going to be a, you know, shallow victory. But to protect yourself in your heart space so you don't end up turning into this fucking person. You feel what I'm saying? You let the swords fall out and you heal yourself by releasing this mental gymnastics that you're doing with the person. And with the Page of Pentacles, it's to elect to stop sowing seeds into this energy, because it's like you being a part of it, you're continuously sowing seeds of discord in your own life, and that's not beneficial to you. You know what I'm saying? So for the first 15 days of January, Gemini, it's all about you guys recognizing the situation that you're in, how it is that you're contributing to the chaos by being a part of it, right? It's like reducing yourself down into like straight sensory consciousness and getting sucked into, you know, the drama. You know what I'm saying? It's you getting back into higher consciousness and overstanding the situation. And that's how you can tune into wisdom to know how to navigate your way out of the situation. But as long as you're looking at it from the perspective of sensory consciousness, you're never going to get the way out, right? And that's whether if, you know, this Queen of Swords and the Emperor is speaking about you, or it's speaking about someone that's making your life extremely complicated. There we go. And then at the bottom of the deck, I love how all these court cards are coming up at the bottom of the deck. You guys have the Knight of Cups. And to me, while all of this is happening, it's saying the same thing. It's like, stop pouring into it. And that's like with this Page of Pentacles in the reverse, as well as the Knight of Cups in the reverse. It's like in some sense or another, whether you're aware of it or not, this is happening because you're feeding into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a part of you that is enthralled into the chaos. You know what I'm saying? And even if this is a battle within yourself, it's more or less speaking to releasing the past, because right now it's almost like wooing it, you know, like you're courting, you know what I'm saying? Like you're courting the chaos in a sense. But I don't feel that you guys are doing that intentionally, because of course, when stuff like this happens, it's never that we're doing it intentionally. It's just because we can't overstand a situation when you're looking at everything in 3D. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole premise of this year, the whole purpose of 2023 is for all of the people who have ascended to a higher consciousness and, you know, are woke, if you want to call it that, right? It's for you to use that higher vantage point to come back to 3D, not forsake that and just come back to 3D, because that just completely undoes everything you've been suffering through since damn 2016. Ain't nobody got time for that. You feel what I'm saying? But it's for you to have that higher perspective and to come back onto Earth. So, and gosh, thank you, guides. I don't know if y'all got Virgo in your chart, but you might want to watch Virgo, because my guides are telling me now, this is the same thing you explained to Virgo. And I'm like, oh my God, it freaking is. It's like, I explained to Virgo, like I used an analogy with them of like, sometimes, and it's something that I see like as a therapist, as a coach, as a spiritual teacher, that people can be these really empowered people who have very healthy boundaries, you know what I'm saying? And like, they're not going to let anyone cross their boundaries. They know what a shitty friend is. They know what a healthy friend is. They know what red flags are, and they could call it out on people. They're empowering other friends like, oh, that's not a good friend. That's not a good relationship. But the second they get into a love relationship, it's like they just forget all the shit that they know about everything. And somehow this one relationship with this person somehow does not abide by the rules that they live by in every other facet of their life. Like somehow it's like their moral code is broken with this relationship. Somehow their core values, the principles they live by, their religion, everything they stand for somehow does not apply in this particular romantic relationship with this person over here. It's like when a person crosses your boundaries, they're like, I will cut that motherfucker off. But this person over here crosses your boundaries, and it's like, well, they didn't mean it. I wasn't very clear about my boundaries. I wasn't very clear about the expectations I set. And it's like, how, Slay, how does this happen? You feel what I'm saying? So it's a very similar thing for you guys, Gemini, in the sense of, this is something you have to recognize in yourself. It's like when you live for something or stand for something, like to be a person of integrity means that you have your personal, value system, you have your personal moral code, you have your boundaries established, you're flexible with them, you're adaptable within reason, right? But you're never going to let yourself violate yourself, right? And you apply that to every domain in your life, every friendship, every relationship, all of the things. Because if you, violate them in one domain of your life, that's going to become a cancer that starts to bleed into every other domain in your life. And you're going to start to compromise on other stuff too. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a very similar thing that I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm saying for you, even if you don't have freaking Virgo in your chart, like, I don't care. Even if you got it in a small place, if you don't have it at all, just go watch Virgo and hear how I explain that, because that's exactly what it is that you guys are dealing with. And not saying that in a romantic relationship sense, like this is for, my deep people. It's like you pulling out the energy signature of what it is that I'm saying, and not, the specifics. Because like with Virgo, theirs was very much about like a romantic relationship. But the whole dynamic of, if you're going to stand for something, you need to stand for something in every domain of your life. Because how I'm seeing that Geminis are doing it, it's like your spiritual consciousness applies like in every other facet of your life. But when it comes to like a work situation, it's like, oh, spirit doesn't exist here. We're in no man's land. You know what I'm saying? We're outside of the covering and the protection of spirit, right? So I have to do 3D things because I'm in a 3D place, and that's just not the case. And that's the reason why you guys are in this situation. So, and I'm saying work situation, but whatever this relates to in your life, you feel what I'm saying? It's like they're giving you the seed of discord, and you're the one being a part of it that's actually planned to get into your life. So be aware of that. But anywho, Gemini, that has been your soul session for the 1st through the 15th of January. The mid-month checkup for you guys is going to be out on the 15th of January, and that is going to be available on all of my membership platforms, as well as on my women's organization network, Our Sanctuary. If you want to see that, they're also going to be on Vimeo as well if you just want to rent one. You know what I'm saying? So if you about that life, go on over there on the 15th. I'm not about to let y'all tarot binge, but I mean, I have to, promote my little organization. If you want weeklies and dailies, and, access to my whole team and all the great stuff we have over there on Our Sanctuary, just go ahead and join. You know what I'm saying? The link is below. Just do it. It's a new year. Do it. The course is free there. I'm just saying. Anyway, love your face, Gemini. I'll see you guys sooner than later.